There we are. Hello, 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 everyone. How are you this evening? We're going to do two little mixed media things tonight. And what we're going to use, I've got a lot of supplies here. Let's see, 9 by 12. Okay, so I think this will work. Okay. I have a 9 by 12 watercolor paper. Okay? You could use cardstock for this if you wanted. I have some gesso, but let's first get started with this. I just have so many things on my desk. One thing about doing a mixed media piece is layers. You not only want layers, but you want texture as well. And so I'm so sorry. I am going to, let's see, this is the center. I'm going to kind of, hold on. Let me get this in half to determine what colors go together. So I'm just going to be using some blues and some greens. I'm adding a little bit of gold and using white gesso, and that's basically it. So it doesn't have to be anything. Let's see, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to talk and do this all at the same time. It's not difficult. You just have to make sure that everything goes together. And it is best to stay within a color, like the same color palette. And light colors, like don't use red and green, because red and green make brown or black. So what I like to do is actually go to a color wheel, which I have and I couldn't find it, and then to see what 2 colors or 3 colors are right next to one another. And that really is the best way to determine right. I'm going to do it this way, but I think this way would be easier. I have 2 6 by 6 pieces of canvas that I have watercolor paper that I have cut. Okay. So what I'm going to do, okay. What I'm going to do, I told you I have all kinds of stuff on my desk today. I'm going to take, this is just, it's actually artist tape, but you could use whatever you happen to have. And I am going to tape the edges because I want this to kind of have a border. So I'm going to tape all the way around this. And when you're doing this, it really is good if you have 2 or 3 of these that you're working on at the same time, because in that way they kind of look cohesive, and it'll make a, like a something for your art gallery. Sorry about that. So like I said, I'm just taking, and you could use washi tape if you don't have masking tape. You could use blue painter's tape. Just whatever you happen to have. Just kind of put them up here. That way I know where they are. I know where I'm supposed to be. Okay, so there we go. Now, I have some gold leafing. I just pulled it out because I knew I wanted to add some gold. I have a gold Posca pen, and I don't know what this is. Postillo? I don't know what that is. Anyway, it's a gold pen. I have some modeling paste. I have a piece of cardboard that I have taken the cover, the front piece of paper off. I have some cardstock. You could definitely use magazines I have some stencils, and then I just have some random pieces of paper here. And then I've got a little lace. This is a little piece of canvas from a project I did over the weekend. This is hem binding tape. I have tissue paper. This is cheesecloth. I found this in my stash. And then I've got some old vintage stamps. Some old stamps that are all in the same color family. Then I have too much. Okay, so let me put all this over here. I've got some book paper, and then I have some paints. And these are Dina Wakley's, but you can just use whatever color paints or whatever paints you have. I'm using a cobalt teal and this olive green. And then I think I'm going to use, this one may be too dark. I've got a little bit of gold. It's cobalt turquoise. I can't even speak. That turquoise is really pretty. Okay, so I am going to get some gel medium in here to glue down my paper. You could use Mod Podge or glue, whichever you would want. I am going to use a little bit of white gesso. If you don't have white gesso, you can just use white paint. Lid on that. So we have gesso. I have the gel medium. I have my 6x6 watercolor paper. I have taped the edges. I have pulled all my paper. And now we're going to get to work. Okay? So, excuse me. And like I said, I pulled some other papers as well. And so I am just going to lay down a couple of papers. I even have this wallpaper from the craft, the ATC cards that I did yesterday, which I thought might be kind of fun to use. So I'm just going to add that. And just kind of for the sake of making it easy, I'm going to have everything running kind of one way, except for maybe one or two pieces. And then I will put them kind of at a different angle. Okay, I think this is going to match my olive. And this matches kind of the turquoise. I don't know if I want to use that one or not. And then I kind of have this lighter color. Let me see if I can have a blue. I don't really want the blue with the stars. So let me see what I have here. That's kind of pretty. This was just a paper pack that I got at Hobby Lobby. I like this one with the gold. That's pretty. And then I like this one here. And I almost like this one with a little bit of contrast, because those look really pretty. So I'm going to use, this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to put everything else away so I can get it out of my way. Okay. So I'm going to kind of tear and lay things out. I love this paper here. I don't even know. This is Artisan 12 Red Lead Paperworks. I think I got it within a kit that I bought. And so I think I want this one to go that way. See, I'm already going against the rule that I had there. So since I am doing these kind of as a grouping, I'm going to use some of the same things on each side, just making them a little bit different. So we have two of those, and I know I want to use this canvas. Oh, there we go. Got it. I'm going to use a little bit of this canvas on here. So I'm going to put both of those on there. I think on this one, I am going to use some of this tissue or mulberry paper. I don't know if I want that on here or not. I think on this one, I'm going to use some of this cheesecloth. Okay, so let me get just a couple more pieces. Definitely want to use some book paper. This is some old book paper. Okay. This is very old book paper because it's just tearing apart. Okay, so I'm gonna put that aside. I've got all of that. Okay. So for now, I'm gonna stop and start with this. What I want to do before I get anything glued down. Oh, I love that string. I'm gonna have to use that string too. I'm gonna add a little bit of color. Thinking this might be just a little too bright. I think I'm gonna use this darker blue. And I'm not using much. You don't even have to use a paintbrush. You could use a palette knife. I'm just using a cheap brush, and I'm just going to brush little blobs, basically. I'm not going to try to make anything. I just want to just kind of put some paint down in random places. I'm just going to go into that blue and not even do my brush. And I'm going to gently dip it into that gesso. Actually, I'm going to put that one aside, and I want a little bit of this one just to be the white gesso. We're going to add some more, so we'll be good. I would love if this was just the blue. Okay. So I'm going to be honest with you. This is a little more than I had wanted to do, but we're going to do a lot of covering up. So I think we're good. I think we're okay. So I'm going to dry this. So I am going to add a little bit of texture with this, with some texture paste and this stencil. This is just a word stencil. Don't need that much. Let me just put this up there. Okay. I just love texture paste on projects. I don't want that one there. It just adds, and I know you can hardly see it, but it's just enough that it really adds just a little bit to your page. Okay. Ah, perfect, perfect, perfect. Like I said, I know it's hard to see, but I know it's there. So we're going to let this dry for a minute, and I'm going to think about what I want to do next. All right. I have this real pretty, I love this paper. I don't know that it goes, but we're going to see. Oh, that looks pretty good. don't think I need that one, and I think this one might be too green. And that's not going to work. Okay, so I'm just going to start laying things down. Just kind of on top of one another. And I like that too. I like this wallpaper. It doesn't really go, but I'm going to use it anyway. So like I said, it's all about building up the layers on your canvas. I mean, already look at that. Isn't that cool? You could just really stop there if you wanted to. But I am going to keep going. I got to tear this off. It's making it hard to tear. Okay. Let's see here. And I just love the little addedness of the cardboard. It just kind of breaks everything up some. So I think I'm going to use that. I need to put some of this on here. I don't want that much. Well, the problem is going to be trying to remember how I had all of this. Oh. Let's see, that's too big. Let's put this. I don't know that that's going to work. Maybe I didn't really want to cover up that yesterday. Maybe up underneath there. This real cool stamp. It is. I can't even figure out what the picture is. The picture may be upside down, but it says Water Music, George Friedrich Handel. And I just thought that was so cool. And then I'm just going to start layering this stuff down. Let's see, this was here. And it's just like doing Mod Podge. You put a coat down and put a coat on top. And one nice thing when you use either Mod Podge or gel medium in projects like this, if you mess up, it kind of acts as a barrier so that it's easy to kind of clean up your messes or your mistakes. I didn't want to say mistakes, but you know what I mean. Okay, so this is the hard one to do, this little thing here. I'm going to have to kind of cut that off a little bit. I'm just going to scrunch that down and scrunch it in there. I kind of want to fan that out a little bit. Okay. I'll make sure that that's all down. Because I do plan to frame these. I know IKEA has frames that are perfect for this. I have to use a little bit heavier of medium right there. So then that one's almost done. I got one last step. And I think this one needs a little bit more. I think it needs some more paper. Kind of wanted that straight. All right. Let's see, what was some of the blue? Oh, I have that wallpaper. Okay. So let me get a bigger piece of this. I think I'm going to use this right here. And I've done these before with magazines, and they turned out great. You couldn't even tell that it was from a magazine. Okay, put that there. Okay, I want this. No, let's just run it on top. I'm going to put this down here. Oh, that looks so cool. I'm going to add, oh, I'm almost stuck that in the paint. I didn't want to do that. Put that there. Okay. And I like to use a group of 3s. So I think I'm just going to add that right there. And I have this canvas here, and I think I'm just going to run it that way, just to be different. And then I'm going to add that right there. If you had some words, you could definitely add a couple of words or something on there. I feel like I need some more texture on this one, since that I had a piece of string, but I don't know where it went, since I kind of lost that. So I'm going to use some more of this and put this on top, and then we're going to be almost done. Oh, there's my string. Okay, I'm going to use this string instead. I can get it on there, because I kind of want it to be a little crazy. There we go, just like that. All right, so I'm going to let this dry for a second, so then I can see what it looks like. And then I have one last step. I need to get a sheet of this out. I love this stuff, but it is so messy. Let me get, I am going to get a line. Use this little brush right here. I'm going to use a line of this. Now, I've had this gold leafing for forever. I bought it for some project. You know, and you couldn't just buy 1 or 2 sheets. You had to buy a ton. I'm just going to put that, well, easier said than done. My hands are sticky. I'm just going to stick that there. Rinse my hands off a little bit. And I'm going to take just another brush and just kind of but it'll do, pig. as the movie, I think it was Babe, where the pig was the sheep herder. Happy accidents, right, that's it. Happy little accidents. I think that's like double pieces. It's kind of picking some up off of my table and just laying it down. That just really made it like flashy. I know it's hard to see. I'll lift it up in just a second. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my palette knife. Let me wipe it off. I'm just going to take my palette knife, the last little step, with a little bit of gesso on the back. Not much, just a little. Almost as if you're dry brushing with the palette knife. And I'm just going to just kind of rough everything up a little bit. It just kind of gets up on those edges. And you can do like some little lines on it if you want. It just kind of blends everything together. I don't know that I like that one. That one was a little much. Let's just do it like this. All right. So, let me take this off. So here's our first one. And I may get a word or something and put on there. I don't know. And then here is our second one. And then this is the fun part of removing the tape. And you have to be careful when you do this. If it starts tearing, just use your heat tool on it, or your heat gun, or your hair dryer, whatever it is that you have. And it'll loosen up the glue enough that you can get it off, hopefully without tearing. So here's our first, let me see if I can do this. Let's see. Here's our first one. I like that that's kind of sticking up. And then this is our second one. And I didn't have to worry about my colors because it's, like I said, it's all in the same color